Developer WayForward has a gift when it comes to action-adventure games. From the Game Boy Color era's Shantae to the more recent DuckTales remake, WayForward can be pretty much counted on to make games that, while not breaking any ground, are definitely worth playing. Explore the Dungeon is a top-down dungeon crawler featuring the quirky cast of the Cartoon Network hit as they explore the depths of the secret royal dungeon in search of escaped prisoners. There are plot points revealed by retro-style cutscenes every 10 levels, but it's never the main draw in a game like this.
You dispatched that boss without any fuss!
Explore the Dungeon has you and up to 3 friends, local only, taking your favorite Adventure Time characters through the 100 randomly generated floors of the Royal Dungeon. More characters are unlocked as you progress, and each character has their own unique abilities that add some variety to the gameplay. Finn is well-rounded and good at hand-to-hand combat, whereas Ice King attacks at a distance with weaker projectiles. Many of the characters also have the ability to fly or float, which allows them to navigate pits and other environmental hazards with ease. Each character also has a unique imagination attack that, when the imagination bar is filled, can be used to unleash a unique super move. This can be purely offensive attacks that damage everyone on screen, or something more defensive or strategic, like spawning health items or stopping enemy movement for a few seconds. How you replenish these imagination bars differs for each character, so depending on who you play as, you want to exercise caution when you use them. Aside from the main attack, there are a variety of sub-weapons that anyone can equip. While the couple dozen sub-weapons can considerably alter gameplay, for the first third of the game you'll be most likely limited to melee or basic ranged attacks. Still, having the option to shoot enemies with kittens is always a welcome addition to any game. As you explore, you'll also acquire tokens that allow you to tweak your character to better suit your playstyle. You can equip extra health, increase walking speed, or even change your defensive role into an attack. You can equip between 1 and 3 at a time depending on your character, and they do add a much needed strategic angle to the otherwise basic combat. When you think of a dungeon crawler, one of the first things that pops into your head is loot-driven exploration. In Adventure Time, not so much. This game is more gauntlet than Diablo. Aside from small amounts of money, all you'll be finding are sub-weapons, of which you can only hold 1 at a time, tokens, and health-restoring food. Questionable design choices don't end there though. Should you fall in battle, you can kiss your assets goodbye. Any money or tokens you had on you are gone for good. It's going to be especially grating if you had a particularly helpful token equipped or have been farming money to purchase all important character upgrades in town. The game also saves every time you're defeated, so if you thought you could recover lost items by loading an earlier save, you're out of luck. There are no do-overs in the Candy Kingdom. Other than recording your progress every time you lose, the game will only give you the option to save every 5 floors. The same limitation also applies to warping back to town. Finally having enough money to upgrade your character, but losing it all because the game forced you to hang around 3 or 4 more floors, doesn't make the game feel more difficult. It makes it feel like a slog. Should you exit the dungeon and find yourself a few bucks short of an upgrade, you might as well spend your money on something else, like level a character you don't use or stock up on keys, because the price of admission to re-enter the dungeon is all the money you have. Given that wealth accumulates much slower than you would assume, it's common to finish 10 floors just to come up short of any of the upgrades, particularly at the beginning of the game when you need them most. Because of the game's random design, one unlucky roll of the dice can turn the last hour of gameplay into a complete waste of time. The game looks suitably retro. Sprites are clear and animated, and the game world looks like you would expect, with bright colors painting the landscape. First impressions aren't everything though, and it becomes apparent early on that the game lacks variety. Level themes, while not really drab, only change every 20 floors, and there's not a lot of variety when it comes to enemy types either. Expect a lot of deja vu as you beat up the same skeletons in the same rooms for hours at a time. Don't be surprised if you run out of interest long before you run out of dungeon. Music, on the other hand, is brilliant throughout. The chipped-in melodies are catchy, and the game features voice work by the original cast. There's also something about Jake and Finn singing the Way Forward jingle that can bring a smile to your face no matter how many times you hear it. There's a fun game in here that's just bogged down in seriously bad design choices. Dungeons are repetitive, and the game is way more difficult than it has any right being, managing to turn what could have easily been a great co-op dungeon crawler into a frustrating mess. Just Another Sidequest gives this game a 6 out of 10. It's for the hardcore Adventure Time fans only.